Hey everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Did That Really Happen? A short podcast where we explore strange, interesting, and vague moments in history to find out if they really happened or if they're all just misunderstood urban myths. Today, we'll be looking at one of the more bizarre moments of European history to answer the question, was Napoleon once attacked by a horde of bunnies? Let's find out. For most people, the name Napoleon conjures images of conquest, brilliant military strategy, and one of the few periods where France pretty much dominated all of Europe. But there's one story about Napoleon that is absolutely hilarious. But first, a little backstory. Napoleon is considered by many historians to be one of the best military strategists of all time. Born in Corsica, Napoleon worked his way through the French military and eventually seized power and crowned himself emperor. Bold and ambitious, Napoleon had dreams of leading an empire that rivaled those of both Rome and Alexander the Great. A shrewd strategist, Napoleon successfully defeated Austria and Russia in the Battle of Austerlitz in 1805, which led to the fall of the Holy Roman Empire. Napoleon again crushed Russia at Friedland in Prussia, forcing Alexander I to sign a peace treaty in 1807. And that's when the amusing tale of Napoleon's encounter with homicidal bunnies begins. To celebrate his victory over Alexander I, Napoleon wanted to organize a rabbit hunt. He entrusted his chief of staff, Alexandre Berthier, with the responsibility of making it happen. Hunts such as these were fairly common among European nobility, especially as a way to celebrate a momentous occasion. So the most important military leaders among Napoleon's forces were invited for a glorious luncheon and hunt. Now, due to the impromptu nature and size of these hunts, it was common for the quarry to be provided. Simply marching into a forest looking for rabbits wouldn't have worked. So Berthier did what any good chief of staff would do and ordered his men to trap as many rabbits as possible for the hunt. They would be released along the edges of a field, allowing Napoleon and his generals to enjoy a fine day of rabbit hunting. But something went horribly wrong. According to various accounts, Berthier and his men gathered anywhere from a few hundred to 3,000 bunnies for the occasion, and this would have given the hunters plenty to shoot at. But when the cages were opened, the rabbits didn't scurry across the field, and instead they ran straight for Napoleon himself. As the bunnies made a mad dash for the emperor, his esteemed guests were at first amused, but it quickly became apparent that the situation was turning awkward and a bit dangerous. You see, Berthier's associates didn't acquire wild rabbits. Instead, they bought as many tame bunnies as they could find. These bunnies were accustomed to people fawning over them and feeding them as they sat in the marketplace for sale as either pets or someone's next stew. So seeing Napoleon in his regal attire, they made a mad dash for him, hoping for food. And according to some accounts, the rabbits were so aggressive that they climbed up Napoleon's legs and all over his body. He tried his best to shoo them away with his riding crop, but it did nothing to discourage the fluffy attackers. Napoleon, the great empire builder, was forced to flee toward his carriage to get away from the horde of hares. But it didn't end there. The rabbits chased Napoleon, with some even hopping into his royal carriage before it could get away. The man who dominated Europe with his military prowess was defeated by a bunch of adorable bunny rabbits. It really happened. Thanks so much for listening to Did That Really Happen? And stay tuned for our next episode. I'm your host, J. William Denton.